Hi everyone, this is Nuraj First, a registered migration agent, and I've been providing immigration assistance since 2007. I'm from Classic Migration, which is based in Canberra. Well, we all know Australia released a migration strategy back on the 11th of December 2023 to reform Australia's broken migration system and to attract the most productive and skilled workers from overseas. After the release, the Department of Home Affairs issued the instrument which abolished the requirement to advertise on Workforce Australia. So this is in relation to 482 subclasses. If the business want to sponsor someone from overseas, prior to 11th of December, they needed to advertise on 3 different platforms, including the government website. But after the 11th of December, the business, they do not need to advertise anymore on Workforce Australia website, but they still need to advertise on 2 different platforms, and that instrument was in line with migration strategy. Another instrument that was released immediately after the migration strategy was the Ministerial Direction 105 and 107. Those 2 instruments were aimed at helping the businesses located in regional Australia, and also aimed at prioritizing the offshore applications for student visa. So if the businesses are located in regional Australia and they want to sponsor someone either on health or education sector, then those applications will be prioritized over other applications. And in regard to student visa, we all know the student visa are being processed under streamlined visa processings, and where the countries and the institutes were assessed based on the risk level. So if the institutes are of low risk, then they will be assessed as level 1. But if the institutes are of high risk, then they will be labeled as level 3. So under the direction released by the government, those applications who want to study higher education sector with level 1 education institutes, they will get priority over other applications. And then the second one will be the level 2, and then level 3, level 3. Surprisingly, the direction is silent on vet education sector. So we don't know whether if somebody wants to apply for vet education sector, either for diploma or any course in the vet sector, whether that application will be prioritized. As per the migration strategy, the government wants to work in the integrity of international education sector, because we know that these international students are vulnerable to exploitations, and this is the area where the government wants to increase the English language requirement for anyone wishing to study in Australia. So if someone is joining the ALI course before starting the main course of study, the English language requirement will be changed from 4.5 to 5 under the new proposed changes. Similarly, if they are starting the main course, then their IELTS will be changed from 5.5 to 6. So, and if they wanted to do the foundation course, there have been also proposed changes to increase the English language requirements. And so it's not only in the English language requirement, but for those who have finished the study and they want to apply for the subclass 485 visa, their English language requirement will be changed from 6 to 6.5, and as per the action plan, these changes will be implemented in the early quarter of 2024. So we all know that after the completion of 2 years study in Australia, then most of these international students, they are eligible for subclass 485 visa, and when they apply for 485 visa under the existing policy, they need to have at least 6, but under the new changes it will be increased to 6.5. The another area where the government wants to improve or they want to look at it closely is the duration of the graduate visa. We all know that if anyone has completed the master's by coursework, then they can be eligible for 3 years visa, subclass 485. But under the new changes, those 3 years duration will be reduced to 2 years if they have already completed masters by coursework. And if someone has completed PhD, then the duration will be reduced from 4 years to 3 years. Well, as per the strategy, the government wants not to, stay. The government wants to discourage the student from switching from one course to another course, because we have a student here who called us a few days ago, and he said that he finished his diploma in business 4 years back, and then he finished his diploma in IT, and now he wants to study diploma in nursing. So this is the area where the government wants to look at it closely. Because there is no clear progression of there is no clear pathway of career progressions, and now the government wants to look at it closely and scrutinize, as they don't want someone to stay permanently temporary. And another note, the government proposed to change the existing 482 to 3 different categories, develop a new skill demand visa with clear pathways to permanent residence. So this will be more like the current TSS visa, but it will be, the beauty of it, the beauty of the new changes is the employee, they do not need to stick to one employer. Under the existing arrangement, the employer needs to stick to one employer, otherwise they will not have access to permanent employer visa. And we have heard there are, the workers being exploited by the employer. They were forced to work on the weekend, they were forced to work, after hours, and they were even forced to work, to look after their kids. And because, there were no provision for them to change the employers, that's why the workers were exploited. But under the new existing systems, the government proposes that if anyone thinks that the employer is not right for them, they can switch to another employer. And another beauty of the current of the existing program is the employer needs to pay instead of paying the upfront fees, they need to pay a trailing fee. So probably it will be a small fee rather than paying the whole upfront fee. So this skill in demand visa is a new 4-year visa, and it will, the one of the requirements will be that they should be paid over TSMIT. So at the moment, the TSMIT is set at $70,000. As long as they are paid over $70,000 and their occupation is in the list, then they can apply under the skill in demand list. There will be another criteria, which is a specialist skill pathway under the skill demand list, and that will also be for 4 years. But the main difference, the main criteria in this category is that the workers, they have to be offered more than $135,000. So this is a special category where the employer, they cannot find people within Australia, and they have to get people from outside. So there are occupations like software engineers, or it could be in a high-tech sector, or it could be in an innovative sector. So the employer can still get them from overseas, but the minimum salary under this category is $135,000. And the third pathway is to get the low-paid workers. As we all know that there will be one category which is $135,000. The another one is they should be paid above TSMIT and below $135,000. And the third category is low-paid workers like laborers, machine operators, And under the existing systems, there are 18,000 labor agreements are in place in order to get those low-paid workers. And effective from May last year, effective from May 2023, there are arrangements in place where the aged care and the disability sector, they can sponsor the low-paid workers like aged care workers disability support workers. So under the new changes, it will be more like similar like what the current system is, but so that they can attract low-aged workers. And lastly, the government realized that this the LMT needs to be changed over the time, and now instead of 3 advertisement, the government has changed already from 3 to 2. So the employer do not need to sponsor, do not need to advertise anymore on Workforce Australia website. And the lastly, that they need to. There was a four months requirement for anyone to advertise before they sponsor someone, but now this 4 months will be changed to 6 months. So as long as the employer sponsor within the 6 months, they will still meet the criteria. There is another area to explore a reform point test to better identify migrants who will drive Australia's long-term prosperity. We all know that there is a GSM, which is called General Skilled Migration, and under the General Skilled Migration, there are 3 visa subclasses: 190, 189, and 491. So the government proposes, the current point system needs to be changed, as it hasn't been able to attract highly skilled, independent migrants. So the government will propose and will consult in the coming days how to nab and attract the skilled workers who can contribute to the economy and drive Australia's long-term prosperity. So there will be consultations, and the government has, in the migration strategy, the government has proposed some changes like more points to the secondary applicants. At the moment, we know that the secondary applicants can get maximum 10 points, 5 points if they have competent English, and 5 points if they have positive skill assessments. So I'm guessing that there will be more points awarded to the secondary applicants. For example, if they have superior English, because under the present system, whether they have superior English or competent, they still get 5 points. And what if the secondary applicant has 2 years of experience already in the occupations in the occupations which was assessed by the skill assess authority? So there will be definitely more changes in the coming days, and the government has also proposed the business innovation and investment programs that will also be developed in coming days. Thank you.